Oh, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
It's 2019.
Oh, it does, mate. Oh, easy, watch it, way. Welcome to the Harley and Josh show. We're back in 2019. It's our first show of the year. This week, we're going to be talking about the UK music sales of last year, which are some great figures coming through, and some predictions for the music industry in 2019, as well as some music from Dystopian Sound Collective, Bessie Turner, and Girls of the Internet. But first,
as always,
here comes Harley. But first, through the door, he's like, "This is how you enter a room, right?"
I just like moonwalk for every door. That's how I roll.
Was doing a moon.
Yeah.
Literal
moony walk. Oh,
do it! You've made it.
Okay, cool. That's how I'm going to leave this room. You watch. You guys watch.
The
on
guys
this
from the Indian
radio
takeaway will be walking around the corner with all their onions, going, "Oh god."
Oh no.
Yeah, we do the show next to an Indian takeaway just for that reason.
Yeah, just for that. Anyway, what was the question?
Who am I? It's good to see you, man.
It's good to see you
I
too.
have seen you a bit over Christmas, but we haven't had our Monday catch-ups.
No.
So what's your December been like, sir?
Oh, it's been hell.
Really? Yeah. You were a bit poorly as well, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, that's just the thing. I worked myself to the bone before Christmas, and then was like, I'm looking forward to having some time off after Christmas.
Yeah.
And I've been so unwell. I worked out. I've been ill for at least 2 weeks now.
Bless you.
It's not been good, and I think it's partially because I've just, as we were talking about at the beginning of December, I do have a tendency to overwork myself, and I was like, I'm going to get better at that.
Yeah.
And then December
gradual
happened.
thing.
I'm certainly going to be being definitely.
Well, you did a great job
at
the Hoppy and the Hopeful show that we had over the weekend. We had a private party at Ipswich Rugby Club.
Yeah,
we were
I
playing
survived.
bass and doing the PA. You did great.
No, thank you very much. Yeah, I was really happy with how the PA sounded. We
3/5 of the band were ill.
Yes.
And me and Dan, the drummer, were just like, "Wait!"
Hoppy and the hopefully we won't die before the end of the set.
Hoppy and the lurgies.
Yeah, Hoppy and the chokefuls. Anyway,
carry on.
So no, I like the way we set up, the way you had it in term. You suggested having both subs on one side.
That's a James Hicks special. That one.
Yeah.
We first did that when we were doing it with the RCF stuff. That he and Steve Hicks would loan out with at Cult Cafe, and we tried it with my EV system, which now you have the same one. I think you have bigger subs than mine. You have the 18s. I've got 15s.
Are they 15s?
Yes.
Oh, fair enough.
So yeah, it worked really, really well, I think.
I was really happy with them. I picked those up. They did their first gig on the 15th, and they've just absolutely sailed for every gig that we needed to.
Which ones
since.
haven't we caught up on your gigs over December?
Right, of course. So we talked about all the gigs for the annual roundup.
Yes.
For people who like annual.
Yes.
We did a roundup towards the end of the year, and it was really great. We had.
You can check that out on our YouTube page. If
we
you haven't
filmed
seen that one. Yeah, we filmed it, so you can watch. Actually, you can see what we look like.
You can see what we look like when we're not really all there because Christmas and.
Funnily enough, I'm the tall one. I mean, some of you guys listening in might think he's a short one, isn't he?
He sounds short.
He sounds like he's got a complex. But no, I'm the tall one.
That was great, and thank you, public thank you to Raina for doing the video edit on that ever so quickly.
Yeah, really did. Just went for it. We had Rob Lewis from Colourblind Hedgehogs, as well as Tom McCarthy from Aaron Buchanan and the Cult Classics, and the Bootyard Bandits, and David Brown of the Rock Project, and thank you, Raina from the Easttown Pirates and the Lockabillys. Yes,
so that was good. So after that we had, to catch you up on the gigs I've done so far, we did New Year's Eve. We also...
The Golf Hotel, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, it's not actually a hotel. But it's still called the Golf Hotel.
It was a shame because I could have just gone as soon as we finished, gone to bed. But it was a great gig. That
just crawl under a table, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I have
Probably
done that
happened.
before. I definitely have.
Somebody will find me.
Slept in a pub overnight and then locked up and left me there. Not untrue.
I hope you're proud of yourself.
I'm a little bit very proud of myself.
A little bit very.
Yeah.
Good.
So that was a great gig. I struggled my way through that one, being quite ill, but we were so happy to have Elliot back because for those who've been following everything that's gone on, we've been singless for 3 gigs, and it was
flu attack.
Stress. Yeah. So Elliot was really ill. We had 3 different deps in. Now, the other gig that we didn't talk, hadn't happened when we did our annual roundup was the gig with Rob Lewis on vocals, which is great because Raina came along to that, Dave came along to show their support, and it was great fun. Rob did really well. It's kind of nice to have a male vocals depping in.
Yeah.
So he was singing in similar sort of...
He's got a hell of a range.
He has got a brilliant range, yeah. So he was singing in the same kind of way that we expect from Elliot.
Yeah.
And he was doing some different takes on the songs and stuff like that, which is really cool.
Dances?
And people really took to him really well. And that's it, yeah.
Did he shimmy?
Oh, yeah, he shimmied. Rainer made a point that you could tell which songs that he really knew because he took the mic off the stand.
Right.
Like he had the mic on the stand and he was holding it. It was looking cool and he really throwing some shapes.
What about the ones he didn't like?
But I don't think we'd played too many songs that he wasn't a fan of.
Good.
We didn't do any of the cliche songs.
Right. Yeah.
So we were right.
Did it Mustang Sally? He's like, nah.
No. I think the most cliche song we did was Play That Funky Music. But Rob said he hadn't sung that one for years, so it was kind of nice to come back.
Yeah, here's a funky music, isn't he?
Yeah. So those are kind of the 2 chart attack gigs we did. It was great, like I say, to sort of have some different singers in, but it was a massive relief to have Elliot back. So we're looking forward to having him back this weekend as well. We'll talk about that in the gig list. And then we'll talk about the gig that happened this Saturday. But shall I talk about that with you as part of your thing?
Oh, it's all right. You can carry on.
So this Saturday, well, we have already started talking about it, haven't we? Hobby and the Hopefuls at the
Ipswich Rugby Club. I DJ'd there before, but I'd never actually played there. So
right.
It was all right. Like that.
I don't think I'd ever been in the building before. I think I'd been to see someone watch football once.
Yeah.
Didn't care because don't like football.
You went to see someone watch football.
Yeah.
This is riveting. Look at him. He doesn't even like football.
It's like that Futurama when they go to the tomorrow's fair, whatever, and someone's playing virtual golf and someone's next to them playing virtual golf. And it's like, wow, it feels like I'm really playing virtual golf.
It's like I'm really watching somebody watching football. It's amazing. But yeah, so we had a little corner, didn't we? It was nice. It was the great thing was we had a children audience. Yeah. To start off with.
Yeah.
Love those audiences.
It did kind of remind me part of like the holiday park where you're playing your first set. You're playing to 4-year-olds, and then your second set you're playing to 40-pluses.
Yeah, adults acting like 4-year-olds.
Yeah.
Their ability,
their ability to stand is always the same.
Yeah, and the dance moves are just as uneducated.
Of course. But yeah, it was a great night. And there was a funny moment. All through the second set, there was a girl dancing. I was like, I know her from somewhere.
Right, yeah.
And then sort of was like, it's all we talked about this. I was like, I can't just go, where do I know you from? Because that sounds like a child line. And hey, we've met before, in past life.
Dreams.
So eventually she came up to us to say something. I was like, I know you from somewhere and I can't work out where it is. Don't run away. And she's like, I don't know. I was like, what do you do for a job? She's like, I'm a policewoman. I'm like, oh dear.
You tell me this now. Like, what have you done, you bad boy?
Yeah, well, I figured it's being...
She was a nice policewoman. Police person.
I think they all are if you're a nice person.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm assuming that she might have been doing the rounds one night whilst we've been packing out of the gig or stuff, something like that. And she was like, maybe you're just really good with faces and you know me from ages ago. Because we did work out that she used to go to the Underlying Sky shows at the Steamboat.
Right, yeah.
I'm like, no, I think it's the other way around. But maybe my thought, my memory of mind of faces.
I'm so bad with faces that I was in a lineup and I saw your face.
Or the other thing, I'm so bad with faces that I'm mistaking you for some bloke I met on a pub once.
Yeah, in Austria or something.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, yeah, she seemed to enjoy it. They were up and dancing.
They were great, yeah.
Yeah, it was for Gainer, wasn't it? It was the lady.
That's it, yeah.
They were South African, and so they gave us lots of food.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's not they just know how to do barbecues down there.
I did say, before we started, there was a hog roast, and before we had a hog in a bun, and I was like, I think this is the happiest I've been all Christmas. I was so happy.
My goodness.
Hog roast is the way to my heart.
Yeah. A Harley hog roast.
Or heart failure, either way. But
we turned into Hoggy and the Hopefuls.
Why did no one think of that?
Damn it. Damn you. Retrospect.
It was a good night, though. It was a very good night.
Yeah, we played. I personally think that's the best we've ever played as Harley and the Hopefuls.
Yeah.
As a collective, you weren't so as happy as you've been in the past.
I wasn't. My playing
I
needs a lot.
But so many less fluffs from you.
Potentially,
you know
yeah.
I mean?
I think it's just a case that we've done more gigs and I know the stuff better each time.
Yeah.
I'm not.
You weren't letting loose as much as you wanted to. I think that was your critique on the night.
Yeah, it wasn't so much that, but my right hand was nowhere near as fast as it should be because I haven't played in 2 weeks.
And you're ill.
And I'm ill.
Yeah.
You know, so I've been trying to work on getting my 16th up to scratch because I really wanted to do a lot of my fills. Follow that kind of, you know,
get your
doubles.
back on.
Yeah, get my Dean Town on. Yeah, I've been practicing that a lot over the last weekend, just trying to get the speed up. But
yeah, no. But yeah, I think like as a collective we played really well, considering everybody was ill apart from me and Dan. We were taking pictures of Dan
having fun.
That was great, wasn't it? Because he was having like the Kesgrave High School where he works were having their staff party at the same time as we were gigging, so he was trying to outfund them.
So there was him photoed in front of a cake with a giant spoon. What else? Drumming whilst with a drink drumstick in one hand, drink in the other, playing drums.
Yeah, that was good.
What else?
Skipping into the kitchen.
Oh yeah,
where he got him mid-skip.
I noticed became the dancing kitchen. I don't know if you noticed. Every time I looked into that kitchen, there was someone in the kitchen dancing.
Exactly.
I was like, "What is it?"
No pots and pans. They're like ding 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 ding.
Well, no, it wasn't a Lockabilly's New Year's Eve special.
We don't give them pans. That's a deadly weapon. I suppose so are bottles. We'll get to that.
We'll get to the time where Josh gave the crowd deadly weapons
when they were drunk.
Yes. Yeah. And there's nothing to go wrong with that.
2 deadly weapons.
Oh yeah, one in each hand. Dangerous. Anyway, What
was your favourite gig of the Christmas period then, Harley?
Oh, my favourite gig of Christmas. Possibly, I think for me the favourite gig, the best one I felt we played was at the Labour Club on the 15th. The first one with the PA system.
Right, yeah.
We had Andy Bartlett on guitar, but we just played 3 45-minute sets straight through it, and it was just plain sailing all the way. Great. But possibly the most fun gig was at Distilled Republic.
Oh, yeah.
Which was the following day, I think.
I'd not seen any live music there. Formerly the Wine Bar.
No, they don't do too much live music, but it was the owner, Morgan's birthday.
Yeah.
So he wanted to do a birthday party, so we had a DJ in one end of the room, we had us playing the other. Not at the same time, but
I'm gonna reveal something to you, Harley.
Go on.
I'm gonna reveal something to you and your listeners. Our listeners.
Go on then.
So the only time I've ever worked in the Wine Bar, when it was the Wine Bar, was when I was first starting out as a self-employed musician, so skint. And it was a hen do on. And
what did you do?
So the hen do was a burlesque themed sort of tutorial thing, like teaching people how to do burlesque things.
Did you learn a thing or two?
No.
Did you meet someone there?
They found out too much about me because I was just there as a topless butler.
Were you?
Yes. All it was, just a little bow tie, pair of trousers, smart shoes, and I'm just serving drinks all night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that the first time you've done that, or have you done that?
That is the first of 2 times.
Right, okay.
Yeah. And money was pretty good.
It better be.
Yeah. And
you're selling your body.
It was a bit cold.
Gorgeous body.
No. I've been working out since. I don't know why they hired me. But yeah. And I was the only one. It wasn't me and somebody else.
They hired you specifically.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm grateful for it. But
can I hire you to be a topless waiter at my birthday party, please?
Only if I'm the only one.
Yes.
And it's just you and me.
Oh, it's just in my gun.
Yeah.
Bring me some grapes. Feed them to me.
Yes, my lord.
Please tell me you had like the cuffs.
I feel like, yeah.
You did? Oh, amazing.
I feel like I should have told you this.
Oh, you definitely should have.
Yeah, but it's good listening for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, okay, so well, so they were happy with it. Do you reckon they'll book you again at the Wine Bar? Yes,
they did try to book us actually towards the end of the year. They had a band, or they were going to put a band on or something, but it was a little bit too last minute to make it happen. But they would like us to come back, so we'll try and make something happen.
That's wonderful, mate.
It was a great gig.
Yeah, well, I think you've done a very good job of getting through Christmas and still being alive the other end. So, I think I'm going to talk about some of my stuff, but until then I want to play some music. This one is actually called Music. It's by Dystopian Sound Collective. They're playing this week, and you'll be able to find out where very, very soon. Stick around, mate.
Music.
That was Dystopian Sound Collective with Music. Isn't it fun, that one, isn't it?
That was well fun, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got that sort of like 90s DJ Shadow, DJ Yoda kind of trip-hop style stuff.
Yeah.
Which I really like about their sort of breakbeaty kind of thing. They got loads of stuff on Bandcamp. I bought that on Bandcamp. They're playing this Friday, so you can stick around and find out. But, I had quite a little eventful little Christmassy thing.
Tell me about it, Joshua.
Oh, do you want me to?
Oh,
I shall
as long as there are more
begin.
stories like the Topless Waiter story, please keep talking.
Oh no, that's like my one trick. That's what I got. Gather round, children. I shall tell you a story of a Christmas of 2018.
Yes, Uncle Joshua.
A creepy Uncle Joshua. I've got a mustache. I grew that over Christmas. Well, over sort of November to December time. So now I am quite an uncle.
You're an Uncle Joshua.
Yeah, I've been told by my students at Moreland, they were like, "You look like my dad now." I'm like, I feel 40. Damn it. But yeah, no, I had a really, really nice and eventful one. I think the last show that we did before the break, we were was the week before we did the Dr. Feelgood show. We supported Dr. Feelgood at Venue 77, courtesy of Stephen Foster. That was his secret gig. And yeah, it was really nice. It was absolutely sold out. So it was the most busy I've ever seen Venue 77. You just couldn't move in there.
Nice.
It was
That's
good.
good.
So it must have been about 300 people or something like this.
It's not a small venue, is it?
So turn up, get set up. Took a little while to sound check, as it's quite an echoey room, to be honest.
Yeah.
And Dr. Feelgood had quite a complex monitoring setup, so they were, faffing about with that for quite a while. But yeah, we sort of played a pretty blistering set, just Murray, Rich, and I, and it was really nice. We had to use all our own gear. They weren't happy with us using any of their gear,
Right.
which I think is it's fair enough. It's fair enough. I mean, the amount of times that people have probably broken their gear, but it wasn't told to us beforehand. So it was like, luckily we brought everything just just in case. And one other beef was they didn't watch us. They didn't watch us or talk to us. I'd play with them again, but I think if you have a support band, just talk to them.
Yeah.
Show
some support.
Yeah, I don't care how big you are. Just like you're both musicians and you both came from the same place.
Yeah.
So I don't care if you're Guns N' Roses or if you're JS and the Lockabillys. You talk to whoever you're playing with because you learn stuff. I mean, anyway, rant over. So yeah, that was good. We had Three Wise Monkeys that weekend, which was myself with the Lockabillys, Hot Tramp, and Baby Brother, which was Josh Sandifer. There's three Joshes, me, Josh Carr,
three
and
Josh gigs.
Josh Sandifer. And really blown away by Baby Brother's set. He's doing some more with that stuff this year, I think.
Cool.
Because he was it was his first ever live show he'd done with it. He'd never actually had he ever taken it out in front of people. He's the lead singer of Animal Noise, and they're doing a little bit more this year. They on the back of their blistering 2018, they did a really great show at the Colchester Arts Centre to finish it off on New Year's.
Nice.
So, but yeah, anyway, if you get a chance to see Baby Brother, he's great. It's kind of Tom York-esque, but got a little bit of Depeche Mode, a little bit of Nine Inch Nails involved, and he plays live guitar and live bass along with it, and sings live. So once he streamlined his set, because he was just playing it straight off Logic,
right?
And straight, and you could bounce it down into a WAV, but I guess you wouldn't be able to sort of cut things out if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And but it's just pretty brave. I thought, just going straight from Logic into the could the CPU could crash because it was on a laptop. You don't know if everything's mixed to the same volume or anything.
With Chart Attack, when we started out, we experimented a lot with programs to run with. We ran through Cubase, Reaper, and stuff like that. And we ended up using Ableton, which is designed for live, which is the way to go, isn't it? Yeah. But even that's terrifying at first.
Yeah.
Once we've ironed out all the creases, it's there.
It depends on the room all the time as well. Like, but I mean, that's got to do with software. But if you're just starting to gig something and it's the first time you chuck it through the PA, that is very nerve-wracking. I've been there and I've done that. So he did a great set. So well done, Josh.
Awesome.
That's not me giving myself a pat on the back. Well done, Josh, as well.
Well done, me.
From Hot Tramp. They played some new tracks.
Oh, nice.
Which I'd not heard, which were awesome. It was the first time I've ever seen him with bits of paper on stage of reminding him of the lyrics.
Oh, wow.
And they were great. It was really nice because, the little setup. You're doing Three Wise Monkeys this weekend, aren't
Ipswich,
you?
next week.
Ipswich.
Next week.
In next week, sorry. So the setup is great.
Yeah.
You can. It's the same kind of deal as the Swan. You got people coming in right next to the stage, but it's kind of angled, so it's slightly easier for people to just sort of come straight in and get in part of the action. I had same kind of vibes as the Swan.
So you're on the ground level bit, because I know they've got different levels, but I haven't seen anything other than the main bar bit.
Yeah, it's right in the main bar next to the window,
Yeah.
So you can see the bands as you're walking past, which is pretty cool.
It's great.
We managed to fit 2 drum kits there because both Tom and Rich were using their own kits.
Yeah.
And swapped it over quite nice and easily. I mean, the taxi drivers are a bit annoyed when you're loading in, so you've got to be a bit wary of the taxi drivers being like, "You're in my spot." It's like, well, I'm loading. I'm not going to be.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go to the NCP, park up, and then
Not
bring
carry
it down.
that much stuff around.
No, thank you. No matter how many dollies you've got, and no matter how it is downhill,
Yeah.
it's still uphill on the other way.
Definitely.
So you got to be kind of a bit wary of that. But and our set was really, really fun.
Nice.
Played mostly originals actually.
Oh, that's kind of nice to be able to do that.
Mhm.
Like, I can imagine that's the hardest thing for someone like yourself when you do both covers and originals. When you're allowed to do a set of your own stuff, it must be great.
It's very rewarding, especially when there's people there that actually have the album that were singing
They're
along.
there to see it.
So that was really nice. Next gig we had after that was Christmas Eve. Murray and I did a little duo set at the Arcade Tavern, which I'd not played in there before. We were approached to play there in the first year that I'd started the Lockabillys, but they sort of decided against doing live music, and they still haven't really done a lot of live music apart from Two Little Good Times they've had there. Sophie's been there a few times. And it was literally just a afternoon thing from like 2 o'clock until sort of like 4 or 5ish. Just before people went home and had their Christmas Eve with their families. So it was packed again, really, really nice. Fans that I hadn't seen for a while, fans and friends, and some little ones as well that were there and singing along. And
oh, that's cool.
And I sang Jingle Bells, and they liked it because I did the naughty Batman Smells version. One of their parents messaged me like, "Thanks for that. They've been singing that since Robbie flew away. Uncle Billy lost his willy on the motorway." Hey. We're still children. So that was really fun. We had another little cheeky private gig thanks to Chris Bellamy, old friend of mine. He's about the same height as me and ginger hair. We used to do theatre together when we were younger, and we were the only boys there, and we had the longest hair, and we were big old nerds. So it was nice that I played his wedding. It was really, really nice.
Nice, man.
And and him in India. India worked with Murray at the Maybush, and we played her mum's wedding.
Oh, sweet.
So it was a really nice little family fair. I knew a lot of people that were family there because they were like, "Oh, we saw you at the last one." So that was cool.
Sweet.
So that was Rich and I. So I played double bass, and I still got a blister from that one. You can kind of see it on my middle finger there. That was bulbous, my friend. Bulbous. Yeah. Something about double bass always just give me this big blood blister and just boom, 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 boom for 2 hours. And then after that, we had New Year's.
Sweet.
It was really great. New Year's at St. Peter's. It's the second time we've done the Beer and Co.
If anybody wants to see some visuals of this,
Farron.
Was it Farron?
Rich's
shared.
wife.
Was it shared to your page? There was a video of you guys doing.
Us, yeah.
What was the song?
It was She's Dangerous from the album.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I was that close from getting the name right.
Yes.
But playing with that, and you had both Raina and Rich on drums.
Yeah.
Doing the beat, and it just looked absolutely electric.
It was so fun. We had Daniel Lee Harvey on stage, who
Yes.
was DJing that night. He was awesome. James Morgan as well. He was also awesome. Dan Harvey was DJing, just doing loads of like sort of just soul 45s and break beats and loads of Cuban son. It was wonderful. But yeah, so we got Greg and Steve and Foster up on stage.
Nice.
And we just it was an electric atmosphere. We'd sold out. I think it was a couple of weeks before the show, so it was absolutely rammed. I ordered in some extra PA because our PA last year didn't quite cut it.
Right.
It didn't quite reach the back of the room. So Steve Hicks, as I was talking about earlier, he does a sound at Cult sometimes, and we hired his RCF system, which is the same system we used to use before I bought my own one.
Yeah.
Thanks to James Hicks. And so we put a sort of a delay thing. We did. It was well fun. We did an array system, like the two subs on top of each other, like we did at the Hopefuls gig, and then an EV top there. And then we did two subs of the RCF on the other side of the stage, with the EV on the top there.
Of course, yeah.
And then we had the two RCF tops halfway down the room, just sort of pointing inwards,
full range
towards So you get there wasn't too much of a delay. There was a kind of a weird thing because when you get the snare hit, you have the reverb of the room, but you'd be getting the snare hit at the same time as you can see it. When you're at the back of the room, so there was a kind of delay, but it was more to do with the whole reverb. It's
like a pre-delay on a reverb plug-in almost.
Interesting, but I think it worked really well. Murray set that all up, and he just nailed it.
Always does. Boy.
Yeah, exactly. So we played up until half 12, and we just had a really great time. Saw in the new year really nicely because we had the wags there, wives and girlfriends, up on stage with us, and
nice, man.
It was sweet. So I do like a bit of New Year's. Frankie asked me, like, would you do New Year's if you didn't have to? If money wasn't an option, would you still do a gig on New Year's? What about you?
I would be more into. I'd probably do a different type of gig on a New Year's Eve. Mm-hmm. I would then find the most fun gig I can find.
Right.
I'd love to do something like what you did.
What about like a jam? A jam would be quite fun. A New Year's Eve jam.
New Year's jam.
Where you could just sort of like just go up if you felt like it. If you had like a bunch of professional musicians in there, and you get sort of a little bit of the pot of like the ticket sales, and you don't have to be up all night. You just sort of tag in and out if you want to do it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be quite fun.
My experience with New Year's gigs is I did New Year's for years. I was like, I'd love to do a New Year's gig because.
Well, you've done it wrong then, because you're supposed to only do it up until midnight. You don't do it for years. Weird.
Anyway, so I always wanted to do a New Year's gig. I'd never played in a band that would get a New Year's Eve gig in. So it was like, okay, well, that's kind of the goal. When you set yourself these goals, that's where we'd set ourselves. And eventually I got a New Year's Eve gig, and I was like, yay, finally, and I really enjoyed it, and I did it. And with that band, I did it for a few years, and then we did one that wasn't particularly great. And I said, right, okay, this is where I'm at. I could take or leave doing a New Year's Eve gig. I won't do it unless I'm getting this much money in. We had a gig offer come in. It wasn't a good pay. The band took it, and I said, no, I'm going to have it off. I'm going to have a night off because I feel I've worked it. So had a whole night planned with family and stuff, and we ended up going around a friend's house, and I was like, this is fine.
Right, yeah.
But I was like,
I'd rather be gigging.
I could be earning good money tonight,
exactly. That's the thing. So I mean, it
is what you make it.
It's not as big a deal as it really is. It's just counting down a clock until the next calendar year, which has been done, hundreds of years now. So I don't know. Anyway, you have requested some music for today, as we couldn't find as many original bands playing around here, so we thought we'd play some of our favourites. This is Abseil by Bessie Turner.
Nice.
How to ruin a lovely ending of this song. We're coming with some music news. So
sorry, that got me.
Got you there. So some sad news at the end of 2018. HMV has gone into an administration.
Again,
indeed. There are some people looking like they're going to buy it out. A company I've never heard of, but there'll be an investment company or something that they do some online sales. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But that comes off the back in the UK music industry, there's been a 37.7% rise in subscription and streaming revenues. 37%, that's pretty huge. And recorded music enjoyed its fourth successive year of growth in 2018 in the UK, which is £829 million generated by music streaming services in 2018 was more than double the same figure 2 years prior, which was 406 million. So it was really going up. So UK music's worth 1.3 billion apparently at the moment. We talked about that a couple of weeks back, and the UK music sector is now 30% bigger than it was in 2014. 30% bigger. That's pretty huge.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So, but it's it's still far off its 2001 peak, which was 2.1 billion. So that's before the MP3 bubble burst.
Yeah, that's it. It's a hard thing. Like, it annoys me because I like buying CDs.
But how often do you get to go to HMV?
I would probably go once every couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean,
that's because I'm already in town as well.
I'm the same. Yeah, like it's once every couple of weeks, and I'm one of the people that would be like, oh, HMV, oh no, it's gone down. But then I'm still one of the people that's using Apple Music. So total yearly UK album unit sales across CD, vinyl, and download dropped by a whopping £13.2 million, which is down 22.1%. There's been a lot of talk that people are just like, oh yeah, we're moving way too more towards an album listening kind of generation now, which I don't think is true. We've been saying it for a while now. People are going to be tired of just a single thing that you get
I think it's
streaming.
Wishful thinking.
It's wishful thinking indeed.
I don't know about you, but me as a musician, I'm an album kind of person.
Yeah.
So I want there to be more albums, and I want people to listen to albums.
Yeah, we're not of the generation that are boosting the streaming sales, So to cap it off, the vinyl revival appears to be losing its shine.
Oh, really?
After a decade of growth, UK vinyl album sales grew by just 1.6% last year to 4.2 million. So you hear that 829 million of streaming, and vinyl is 4.2 million. So everybody's like, vinyl's huge. It's not huge. It's just gotten a bit bigger.
It's just bigger than it was.
Yeah, exactly. So interesting that in the top album sales, the top 10, The Greatest Showman accompanied in the top 10 by two other original movie cast recordings, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, and A Star Is Born. So people really liked musicals last year.
I think that is a sign of kind of the sort of people who buy albums.
Yeah.
Are the sort of people who are into musicals.
And also it's not often that you just buy one track off a soundtrack, would you?
No.
You'd just buy the soundtrack, wouldn't you? So I think that's the thing. The albums are going to be mostly sort of gone from that. So there's an interesting thing we'll get into our discussion in a bit. So about albums and maybe the concept albums coming back. So apparently last year across all audio streaming platforms through Spotify, Apple Music, and Deezer and other audio streaming services in 2018, there's been a 33.5% rise on how many songs have been listening. Have a guess of how many songs were streamed. How many times people streamed a song on a streaming service?
What, as in all of them?
All of them, all year, all together.
40 billion.
14.
Billion.
91.
Oh.
91 billion songs. Imagine that.
I actually said 40, and when you said 14, I'm like, yeah, I'm backing out.
Oh,
here.
sorry. Well, yeah,
but I was still way off. I was still way off.
That's right. I mean, it's like every single person in the world, we've just flown past 7 billion as a population now. That's like every person listening to at least
13 billion times?
No.
Million?
Well, 7 billion
people.
Wait,
yeah.
So, we about Sorry, 10 listeners streaming 10 songs.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And just can think about, there was about
a lot of people are babies and they don't know how to work Spotify.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And also a lot of people don't have internet. So,
Oh, yeah, that too.
So, yeah. Yeah, most of this. So, like, a baby's just like, I love The Greatest Showman. The other one's like, I love Rain in Blood.
Of course.
So, yeah, interesting news just about where the music industry is. So, all the people that are going to be like, oh, HMV's gone down, oh, so bad. But,
I think
we've gone headlong into the streaming service stuff.
Yeah, this isn't the death of the music industry. It may be the death of the music industry that we knew when growing up, sort of 15, 20 years ago. But this is the transition. We're in the transitional period of a new
a new peak time,
a new world. Yeah,
but there will always be a trough. If you know your sound waves, there's always a peak, then a trough, then a peak, then a trough, then a peak, then a trough. It's the same as the economy, same business. It's just what's going to happen. When cassettes were brought out loads, there was a big bubble burst there. With CDs, there was a big bubble burst there. MP3s, there's been a big bubble burst there. It's just every time it's rises and falls, ebbs and flows. So we'll see how the streaming stuff works, and if it's going to be, well, it already has been good for the music industry, but whether it will really screw us in the end, we'll see.
I've got no evidence to back this up, but I also heard that the cassette sales have also increased over the last few years as well. They're having a bit of a boom, despite the fact that they're awkward, they don't sound great, and they're just not... I mean, when you say vinyl's less of a hassle, that's saying something. And,
exactly, right.
But apparently they're having... I think people, there is a bit of a nostalgia and a retro attraction to those kind of mediums.
It's not always in the audio quality and actually about, how convenient it is. So we'll see. Anyway, then to our next section. The fan report back this morning. Jingle. So you sent me this interesting link the other day from the BBC, a little sort of breakdown of predictions in 2019 for the music industry. So it was really interesting. So the first prediction was diversity and inclusivity will make music more interesting. So in 2019 is saying that women make up sort of... in the past, there's been a lot of the fact of like, oh, so-and-so lineup or so-and-so band or so-and-so, musician is a woman, they're female or they're of color, they're from a different country. So you're like, oh, how diverse, how great, how amazing. Let's sort of focus on that. Whereas now we're trying to push towards the fact of, well, that's not a thing anymore. It's fun. We want that, but we don't want it to be a focal point of something.
I think I might have mentioned this on one of our earlier shows, when we talked about sort of gender equality in music, and my take on it at the time was, we'll get to a place in gender equality in music when an all-girl band is not a
spectacle.
It's not something to be celebrated.
It's not a selling point. That's what's been happening too much, is this selling points. That you've got a black singer or you've got a female bass player. It's like, well, we should be getting to the point where I was like, really, like that there should be that. But that shouldn't be something that we're all sitting there going, wow, that's amazing. That's just like saying, it's difficult for them to be as good as a white man. It's like, no, everybody can be talented, everybody can be wonderful regardless of their gender, sexuality, their color, so we should be moving towards, in 2019, just focusing less on of how sellable it is that somebody's gay in a band. So it was saying women make up X amount of the acts performing. This is the lady that was saying this. I didn't write our name, I should have done. I think surely it will become that this isn't a thing to be praised or a woke selling point, but more the status quo. So I'm all for that. Status quo, that everybody's inclusivity.
I've got the article here and I can't see it.
What's her name? Can you find her?
Self-esteem. Musician.
No?
Is that the name of the artist?
No, I think it's probably the website. So Self-Esteem. So number 2, UK rap and drill will dominate. So more mainstream sounds will make drill rappers household names. I think drill has been a bit of a scary, bedtime story for people. Like, oh, look at these horrible videos of people doing criminal activity and knife crime and stuff like this. But remember, a while back, dubstep and grime and trap music were all the same. People were just like, oh, you can't listen to that, it's dangerous. People that write that music are dangerous people. But then you ended up with Dizzy Rascal becoming a household name. Stormzy becoming a household name.
I would quite happily take Dizzy Rascal home to my parents. It'd be a great laugh. They'd love him.
Oh, will you come dance with me?
I was reading through these, and this is the one that I'm like, I sort of passing judgment on everything, going, oh, I agree with that, oh, I don't agree with that. And this is something I have no idea, because I'm not part of that scene enough to sort of know.
Rap and drill.
Yeah,
I mean,
so you're a little bit more into that, where you're a bit more open-minded than me, I think, in that kind of genre. But so do you have a take on this, or do you think this is a good prediction?
Well, it's just it's more of the homogenization and accumulation of genres that it's just going to happen. Is that drill, what actual drill is from the beginning, will not become mainstream. That sound I don't think will be the thing that becomes mainstream, it becomes household names. It's going to be
It'll
this
transform.
kind of amalgamation with dance music and with pop music, and you'll have a drill track and you'll have a famous singer on it. Boom, you've got a hit.
Yeah.
And then people are like, oh, drill, it's not so scary now. And then there'll be another subgenre that'll come along. It's the same with every kind of music. It's like, punk, when it first started out, was absolutely terrifying. People were like, oh, God, get these people off the streets. And now you got Green Day that are filling stadiums. So, it's just what happens that down the line, pop eats itself. And we end up, being absolutely fine with the subcultures. And what comes from the underground comes to the overground. Anyway, so... albums getting even longer.
Now, this is something I really want to happen because I'm all for big long albums and sort of feature length album pieces, but I don't understand the thoughts behind it.
So, I thought it was quite an interesting point that it was making in this section was that Rihanna, in a kind of a fight against another artist in the charts, was adding tracks to her album after she'd released it, which I think is going to be a thing that we can do in the streaming service now.
Yeah, that's it.
That an album doesn't have to be just complete once it's released. You can just release an album and then be like, you know what? I'm going to add another track there, and you don't have to do a reissue of the CD or anything. You just put it in. I mean, Deftones did that with White Pony. They did a Back to School mini maggot thing, which I absolutely love that album. I prefer the original release because that was just the one that I started on.
But it start and finish.
The one that most people know is the Back to School version.
Yeah.
They added that on because they felt like either I don't know the reasoning behind it. Either it was a better album opener. Or it bookended the album because the first track was sort of the last track and the first track. It was like the last track. I can't remember. It was called Pink Maggot. Was like a reprise of Back to School. So you kind of get that melody back and you remember it a bit more. So that'll be an interesting thing for artists to do now, where they don't have to sit there and have a battle with a record label and say, "This is how I wanted the album." To be, sectioned out and stuff. You can just literally say, okay, we'll release it like that to maybe satiate one person's needs in the business transaction, and then later on you can change it for the other person's needs. So we'll see how that works. I don't, these are all saying, this is going to happen 2019. I think this is, wishful thinking on some parts. It's just going to happen gradually.
Yeah.
What was point 4 then?
Point 4, music will be truly global. Which I think that's a thing, is because with this, there's a big sort of music world here. From my understanding, it was in UK and in the US. There are artists that don't come over to the UK. They don't translate in the UK market so well, and vice versa. But that's partially because the channels that they go through aren't the same. But then now it's kind of that wall has been broken down. The digital wall doesn't exist.
This is talking moving outside of the UK. The English-speaking countries. So it was saying, instead of looking to New York or London, look to Kuala Lumpur or go to Cape Town or somewhere different. I mean, there was a band that both Daniel Lee Harvey and Beck from Impilo. Samhoy Blues, they're a wonderful band from Timbuktu, and they're this funky band. They play really great grooves, but I can't understand what they're singing, but I still love it, and I still kind of learn the words. So I think there's you get a learning experience. I mean, it's like a lot of Metallica lyrics. I don't know what it's actually saying, but I'll just mimic it anyway.
There's I can't remember where they're from, some European punk band called FOD that I really like, and they do, all of their songs are written in English, and they're quite funny because they do, some of their lines are about how their English isn't very good to explain something, so they explain something badly. But I found one of their songs in their native language. I'm like, I've no idea what they're saying, but this is great.
It's better, It's
really good music.
I think that's going to be a thing that we should do. We should check out much more sort of foreign language music. Concept albums reflect uncertain times, so I think that will reflect the fact that we like a little bit of long form storytelling. Like, we like people when they create worlds. I really want to write a concept album, and I'm in the middle of one doing.
Nice.
When you get that sort of journey and escapism that you can get from, say, like a Tolkien novel or something, you can do that with an album worth of stuff, and people have done that for decades now. So I think there'll be a bit more of that just to reflect, this post-Brexit Donald Trump era where there'll be a lot of political outcry, just like with Green Day and American Idiot in the Bush era. I think there'll be a lot more of that.
I think it's a good upsell as well from an artist point of view. I know when it was at Plan B, he did the Defamation of Strickland Bank, and I think he only released 1 or maybe 2 songs from that album, but then that was just a slice of the story. So it made people want to go, well, I want to know the whole thing was going wrong.
It'd be interesting to see how that goes, right? Because it shows album sales are declining, but I guess that
this might be their bringing it back.
Yeah, it might be bringing it back. What's the next point then?
So 6, the music industry will be divided.
Yeah. So there's more sort of algorithmic playlists it's talking about there, and homogenized genres and songs will be shunned by sort of like the real, music listening public, and DIY artists connecting more with fans. So, I think we are getting that drip fed to us that we can get in touch with our fan base much easier now. So that'll be a thing. I think advanced blockchain technology, which we've heralded on this show. I mean, we are trailblazers.
Oh, all the way.
Whereby fans will share their own part of the revenue of an act is widely anticipated. So I don't know. So when people sort of own rights and things like this, that will be, if people can design some tech for a band, then they can have a little bit of a slice of their business. So I don't know, we'll see. Speaking of the business, the 7th point here is independent musicians will become more entrepreneurial.
I think this has already started to happen.
Yeah, definitely.
I think, with people sort of bringing out their own music, doing sort of interesting ways of how they release their music and the merchandise that goes with it. Even locally, we're seeing a lot of that, and it's great. It's really cool just to see how people...
There's more and more people going self-employed. That's all I see every single week is more and more people like on my Facebook feed that I've known from university that are just like, you know what, screw it, I'm not doing my stupid job anymore. I'm just going to go head first and I'm going to go self-employed and I'm going to be a musician. I wanted to do it, so I'm going to do it. It's become more easy to do it. We've done that now. So, there's more and more people following suit. We have the ability to make anything artistically assisted through the digital sphere, and yet many of us feel overwhelmed by the sheer volume of administration involved. There is a lot for us to do in between gigs and in between writing. So it does wheedle out the sort of the people that are really serious about it and the people that aren't. But we'll see who's standing by the end of it.
Hopefully we'll both be. Fingers crossed.
And also...
and
more of a diverse bunch as well. Good, but we'll see. And the last one, that was interesting. A voice command search will change music creation. So it was saying text-based communication is on borrowed time, is what it's saying. After a while, we'll just be dictating all of our texts and etc. in our Facebook statuses or whatever. Will be coming in the future. And the titles of songs and names of acts will have to be recalibrated to ensure that the right keywords put them at the top of results. So it was saying here, say, Alexa, play me the best song ever. See what happens? One die bloomin' Rection.
That's clever. And
play me the best song ever. That's the one.
I also found when I'm driving, I've got my phone set up to Spotify, and I say to my phone, play Noah on Spotify. Noah, the band with Louis Cole. I don't know if you come across them.
Don't know. I haven't. No.
Really cool music.
What kind of thing?
Sort of electronic, sort of poppy, dancey stuff, but then they're kind of from the jazz scene. Louis Cole played with Wolfpack on one of their tracks, but also all of his band do play a lot with Scary Pockets and stuff like that. They're part of that kind of circle, and some incredible music.
Like Dirty Loops kind of stuff.
So they're part of that kind of world. And Noah, Knower.
Oh right,
and I was like, play some of them, and it started playing some music. I was like, this is not
it.
And it Noah, and it's that's something that's hard.
So there's something to think about when you're naming your band or naming your songs. Anyway, so that's some predictions and some views of 2019. What do you guys think? We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on everything. So please do give us a little heads up to know what you guys think, what's going to happen in 2019. So until then, we're going to get to the here we go with the gig list. You're playing this weekend
Yes.
at the Duke of York.
I am.
On January 11th. That's Friday, isn't it?
Yes, that's the Duke of York on Woodbridge Road in Ipswich.
Not Woodbridge.
Not Duke of York on Ipswich Road in Woodbridge.
It's weird, isn't it? Also, January 11th, we have the Dystopian Sound Collective.
Yes,
who
where
we
are they
played
playing?
earlier. Dave, Stitch, Fjorton, and more. I believe Beard Effects is playing that one as well. So that'd be a
Nice.
good one. That's Friday at 7:30. That's the John Peel Centre for Creative Arts in Stowmarket.
Great
Also,
place.
January 11th, we've got a weird band that I checked out called Iron Boot Scrapers from Brighton. They're like an Edwardian rock band. So they're like as if they were in the early 1900s. But if they were kind of playing Queens of the Stone Age. Really weird.
Oh, that sounds cool.
They're playing at the Railway this January 11th, which is Friday. So
Nice.
check them out. Also on the 11th, no, that's all of them for this week. As well as Saturday, we've got Super Things at the Gardener's Arms.
Nice.
Saturday at 9 o'clock. And also a new Icebreakers on
course.
Sunday, which will be awesome for the under-18s open mic. If you've never been on stage before and you are a young budding musician, get down there. It's the most supportive place that you can,
It's great. It's really
show
good
off your
atmosphere,
wares.
really friendly.
Yeah, Rob Lewis heads that up. It'll be great.
I
Check
haven't
it
been
out.
for the last however many months. So
And we've got a new venue opening up in Ipswich.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Casa della Musica in Ipswich.
They do music.
It's more dance based. So if you
Okay.
guys, if anybody listening, they do a lot of sort of kizomba, sort of salsa, a lot of Afrikaans kind of dancing involved.
Awesome.
So it'll be a little bit more of a hub of a place for people to go along and dance to lots of different types of music, not just the old Unit 17 stuff. Before we go anywhere, I wanna do a shout out for our Facebook game this week.
Yep.
Because we had a good fun one.
We did,
I stole
yes.
this idea from Farron Webb. It was take a band name and demote it to something less important. I'll start. I put Mild Chili Peppers, Wu-Tang Bunch, or ZZ Bottom. I liked that one. I thought that was funny.
Of course, there was a few people comment who were saying Wink 91,
Wink 91, yeah.
which I think is brilliant.
That's great.
Double halves.
Yeah. Monophonics by Rob Lewis instead
Yep.
of Stereophonics. I like that.
And we also did have Cat Dickinson, the colour deficient hedgehogs.
I really like Ben Goble's one from Farron's status, which he put, which was Earth, Wind and Fire, but he did Dirt, Farts and Sparks.
Yes.
That
Yes.
was wonderful.
Brilliant.
Minor Gripe Against the Machine by Daniel Harvey.
Yeah.
Matt Harold, Jimmy has a small portion of world.
Rob Lewis, this is possibly my favourite, and I think this is probably the winner because it's had the most likes. Moist, moist, moist.
Oh, yeah. Instead of wet, wet, wet. That's great. But yeah, or Slapping Pumpkins by Gareth Patch. That was really good. There's been so many. I think we've got to say that Rob Lewis wins that one, though.
Yep.
With Moist, Moist, Moist.
Or Paul McCartney and Flaps.
Not Wings. Brilliant. But yeah, so we do games every single week on our Facebook page, so do check that out. Get involved. If you like the games, please do like the page and like the picture as well, just so that we get a little bit more of a spread. Yeah, so what do you guys think about what we've talked about this week?
Please let us know.
Yeah, if you've got some suggestions of what we should talk about next week, or some music that we should listen to.
Oh, please send us some music because we're always looking for new stuff to play.
Exactly. We've got some new stuff in the inboxes, which we're looking forward to play.
Yeah.
So we'll see you next week then, you wonderful people. Thanks. This is Girls of the Internet. And I'm playing guitar on this one, Harley.
Ha ha! Ooh!
I've been hearing things about you.